Hey you guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 67. Today we're looking at this awesome house in Mansfield, Texas. Mansfield is one of the suburbs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, south of Arlington. I'll show you where it is, but it's a great community and there's really nice neighborhoods there. And this looks like a great house that's being offered at a huge discount. The house is coming to us from our friends at Fazio Real Estate Solutions, Mansfield, Texas, prime Antigua, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I guess Antigua might be the neighborhood. Oversized lot, family friendly, blah, blah, blah. Top rated Mansfield ISD is what we talked about in the last episode, guys. People move to where the schools are good. Like if you've got any kids, you care about the schools, and that's going to be one of your top priorities as you choose to buy a home or to rent a home. All right, as we roll into this house, it's at 2904 Rocky Creek Drive in Mansfield, Texas. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, built in 2000. The house is only 25 years old. Huge, 2,793 square feet. On a pretty average size lot, to be honest. They really packed the house into that quarter acre. A quarter acre is pretty typical lot size for us here. They're saying, Fazio says ARV 425, and they're offering it for $128,000 less than the ARV. So you kind of wonder what's up with this house. It looks great. Now, I haven't looked at the pictures. I've looked at one picture, and it was this one, just to get a thumbnail for the video and a backdrop for us talking about this house. But man, I really do like this house. By the way, the house is being offered by Fazio Real Estate Solutions. If you have any interest in the property, you can reach out to Jade Vaughn at 214-646-9646. We don't have any association with them. We don't make a penny if you buy this house. We use their content for this educational series, and for that, we thank them and we let you know who they are. This is a real house that's really available today to purchase as an investor or even as an individual. Because honestly, I look at this deal and I think, to buy a house in Mansfield for $300K that looks like this, as an individual, that would be a sweet deal. We'll find out. Let's do some quick analysis and figure out, is this an investor deal? Or is this really, kind of just basically a discounted house for a retail buyer? Let's go figure that out. Now, as we do that, I just want to show you where the property is located. Here's the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and you can see the pin dropped over there. And as we zoom in, see, this is Arlington up here. Then down below Arlington is Mansfield. This property is up in that neighborhood of Mansfield, so you can get a pretty good sense of where it is. I'm not even going to look for a Family Dollar because Mansfield is an awesome place. They got all the stuff, dude. Believe me, they probably have an HEB down there. I wouldn't be surprised. They get Sam's Club, Target, Home Depot, Marshalls. You get the point. We really don't need to verify Mansfield. Mansfield is a nice area. I really like it. Honestly, if I lived somewhere besides where I do, I would consider Mansfield as a community to live in because it's very nice and it's not super expensive. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not super expensive. Great school districts, great restaurants. Mansfield is pretty cool. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. All right. So when we look at the deal, the wholesaler's saying ARV 425. Is that true? Let's go look around on the sites. Well, first we look on Zillow and we see 416. That's very close to what the wholesaler's saying, right? I don't have any Zestimate history down there, so I don't know exactly where they're getting that. And it's been a long time since this thing's not listed or anything like that. So 416 on Zillow. We're going to look over at Realtor, 434, even more for this nice house. They got some pictures. I wonder if those are the pictures we're going to be looking at. I don't know yet. We're going to see. but CoreLogic has it at 415. Quantarium has it at 434. Basically, what you're getting from this is that the wholesaler is not kidding about the ARV. It's around what they're saying. 414 on Redfin. Redfin says, let's see, I like this little thing that Redfin does. They basically say could be some high days on market. It's kind of balanced. Like they're not saying it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. There's somewhere in the middle. Homes are selling close to their listing price, but it looks like there's been a huge decrease in that in the last month. But look, 470 median value. So you get what I'm talking about. This area of Mansfield is very nice, supports that ARV. There are plenty of recently sold homes there for the data, and we're looking at 78 days on market. It's grown 6.5 days in the last month, so it shows you that the market has slowed down and is slowing down. That's pretty interesting. My property radar also had a very similar number of 413, 247. So when we put the Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and Property Radar numbers in there, we get an average of 419, a median of 415. We're going to go right kind of in the middle there, close to the average, at 150 a square foot on that 2793 square feet of interior space property. At 150 a square foot, that's 418 and 419 basically. And that is where we're going to be on our ARV, 419, very, very close to the 425 they say. So I've got no problem with the ARV as stated by the wholesaler. Sounds pretty close to what you might expect. And so now the question is it worth 297 to an investor? I'll tell you, like, I haven't looked at the house yet. We're about to go in there and look at it. But if it's nice, we are really close to an investor deal. If it needs more work, we're probably close to a handyman fixer-upper kind of deal, where you buy a house. I'm telling you, you don't get in this neighborhood much for $300K, right? So it kind of makes me wonder if there's something wrong with the house once we get into it. We'll see. It's 25 years old. There could be some things. I haven't looked at it without you guys. I never do. Sometimes I go grab a thumbnail picture out of there, but that's about it. And so I'm ready to jump into it. Are you? Let's go look at it. So, one point I wanted to make before I did that. Go look at the model again real quick. At 419 ARV, if the house is in perfect condition, at the 70% discount factor, we could pay $293. They want $297. So we're within about $4,000 of what they are asking. We're a little bit below that if it was in perfect condition. Guys, I have a feeling it's not in perfect condition, but we're going to go in there and take a look at it, see what we got, and come up with our final number on this property. There are quite a few pictures. I will move through them at a pretty good pace. There is that exterior shot. Looks really good. Love this kind of layout with the garage to the side where you're not just looking at a garage when you look at the house. I like it quite a bit. All right, we're going to move through. We're in the house. These look like real wood floors. Those don't look like any sort of laminate. They look like a wood floor that might have been redone and, kind of, it's pretty shiny. Might have put a plastic coat on there. Crown molding around the ceilings, nice walls, good texture. This is a nice looking house. Honestly, I like those colors too. Everything being in a really nice neutral palette, but throwing a little color in there. We're coming in here. They're getting ready for Christmas. Got the tree up. It's not decorated quite yet. I'm assuming they don't keep that tree there year round. Not necessarily where I'd put my tree in this big old house. You got almost 3,000 square feet, and you're going to cram it next to the kitchen table. But, no big deal. I'm guessing the kitchen's over that way. Again, love the crown molding. Nice finish out in this house. Very cool floors. You can see it's not, I don't know if it's a full wood product or if it's a laminate product, but it looks pretty good. Not necessarily the color I would choose in 2025. Very popular in 2000, that lighter color, but seems like we've gone to either darker colors or even grays or other types of colors besides this kind of caramel orange type of stain. But look, would you complain about this? Honestly, nice color choices. The quality of the space looks pretty good. Now, this picture is not super hot. That's not the video that's blurring this. I'm seeing it blurry, but it looks pretty good. Again, love the palette that they've chosen. Again, as an investor, I'm not supposed to be looking at colors because we can change colors like that. But it's kind of cool to see that the house looks good as it is, and it doesn't need a ton of work. This is a nice house. Somebody's living in this house right now. They're using the Jergens right there for their dry hands while they sit at, I'm assuming it's that, while they sit at the table there. So this is a house that's currently being used. They got their TV stuck up and to the left of the fireplace. Fireplace looks cool. I like that green. I really like that green. Now, you look into the kitchen, you'll see that lighter color, like I was talking about. This was very popular 25 years ago, the lighter colors in the wood stains. The flooring looks good in the photos. Now, if we got in there, put our eyeballs right there on it, we might see something different. This was also popular back then, 25, 30 years ago, to run like these wallpaper. There was a name for that piece, and I can't remember what it is right offhand, but yeah, it just runs along the ceiling and top of the wall. And it looks cool. I got no problems with it. In fact, it's very tasteful, and the colors in here are great. It's not a bad house at all. It's kind of exactly what I expected to see in Mansfield. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out why is this house discounted $100,000. It's got some granite. And again, like I said, 2025, probably not the stain color we would choose for the cabinets, but does it look bad? No, it doesn't look bad at all. It looks pretty good in my opinion. Excuse me. Laundry room, nice and big. Got cubby holes for the kids to put their stuff, like a mud room. It's nice. It's a big laundry room. Oh, here's one of the baths. Again, that 25 years ago, we were using wallpaper, quite a bit. And, maybe people still are. I'm not hip to all the latest trends, but the wall texture looks very good. It's modern. Of course, there's no popcorn in this thing. The floors look decent. There's, again, that kind of orange stain cabinetry. Those floors look fine. I like the way they ran diagonal in there. Very tastefully done. That's nice. Very nice. Okay, we're in a bedroom. I'm guessing that carpet's probably old. Could go. Does it look horrible? No, not really. It looks like if you vacuumed it, it would look fine. We're just seeing some footprints on it. I don't think these are stains. I think these are just footprints. In fact, the house looks just very clean to me. Walls, corners, don't see any cracks. Kind of an old ceiling fan. It's only got 4 blades. Is that right? Don't most ceiling fans have 5 blades? I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. Put it in the comments. 4 or 5 blades. What do you think? All right. Like those little transom windows up there. Man, it's just nice. I do like that bed too. It doesn't come with the house, but that's pretty cool, right? I like that a lot. Another bedroom. Yep. Again, looks good. Wall colors neutral. Doors are modern. Ceiling looks good. No cracks. Got that brown carpet. That's probably one thing that could go. And again, the diagonally placed square, probably 12 by 12 tile here in the bathroom looks pretty good. Got a big tub with a walk-in shower. This gold-looking metallics, that we used 25 years ago. Still probably gets used, but I don't think that we're using gold so much anymore. But doesn't matter. Okay, we had a little area up here where that wallpaper trim work was messed up. No big deal. I would get that off of here and maybe repaint and leave that wall there for now. I mean, it's like, it looks good. It looks fine. You see what I mean? Just take that section out and that section out, touch up the paint, and that would look pretty good. I like the two levels of the vanity here. This is generally kind of considered the guy's level and the girl's level, whatever. Not making any gender rules here. We're just looking at how houses are built. And there's again that that gold frame of the showers. Not a lot of that, so honestly it doesn't look bad. There's a little bit of edge there that got broken off. Looks like this shower, it's hard to see in there. Can't see a lot. Might be some cleanup that's needed here in the bathroom areas. And if you look at the wall right there, isn't this crazy how our hands are dirty a lot? And if you touch the wall, it remembers. It remembers, my friend. The wall will remember. There's kind of dirtiness all around here. That's interesting. Tells me we need some repainting, certainly in this bathroom. And I think the carpets honestly need to go. This is not a color that we would use in 2025. And so it immediately dates the house when you walk in and see all this brown carpet. I would get rid of that. So I'm going to include that in a cosmetic assumption here that we're going to replace flooring. But as far as the quality of textures, walls, all that stuff looks good. We haven't seen inside, like an air conditioning unit, a water heater, some of the mechanicals. I'm curious if we'll see that. We had 2.5 baths, and this is the third one, so maybe one of them did not have a shower. I didn't catch that. And I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to waste your time. I like that purple wall. Yeah, I kind of like that. Not going to lie. The purple's kind of cool. All right. So, yeah, that looks fine. Looks fine. Builder's grade vanity top. And honestly, vanity decent, but, still builder's grade faucets. Don't look brand new. That's an area I like to fix. I like to drop in new faucets because they're not that expensive. And when people come into a house that's got brand new faucets and they're all working perfectly, they really appreciate that. They really value that when they're walking through the house. Here is a bathtub with a shower curtain, and again, that diagonal tile. Not much really to say about that room. I can't see in that bathtub. Here, the carpet seems to be showing a little bit more wear, or they just didn't feel like vacuuming this spot. They told Junior, "You're responsible for your own room, Junior. You need to vacuum the floors." And Junior said, I don't care about vacuuming. That's a waste of my time. I could be playing video games. All right, so there's Junior's room. Nice. And here is another of the it's 4-bedroom, right? 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Here's another one of those, and they have a whiteboard. What does it say? Hit me hard. I don't know what that, but I think this is a song list. This looks like a song list for May 16th at 11 p.m. for their set that night. And isn't that a cool but very large memento of that? And so again, we got some crazy coloring in here. This is a younger, probably teenager, wanting to have their own identity and all that kind of stuff. Beautiful bed again. Gross carpet. Man, I'm really starting to not like that brown carpet. It's kind of gross. I think that's what most people are seeing when they come in this house. They're seeing this gross carpet. It's, I guess, the 4th bedroom. Got a little desk area, just a simple one of those beds you bought on Amazon, and that went and unfolded right there in the bedroom, and now instant bed appeared, and there it is. And yeah, that room looks fine. Again, I'm not seeing anything like red flag wise. I think this might be an upstairs living area, and it's nice. It's very nice. Hate the carpet. I'm sorry. The brown carpet, man, is just wearing on me in this house, y'all. It's especially with gray. I don't really love brown with gray, but it's not horrible because the brown's a little darker, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I like what I'm seeing as far as the functional aspect of the house. Looks very good. Going out on the back porch, and we are hanging out here. Yeah, got a covered back porch. We got an above the ground pool that looks like it might be partially sunk into the ground, but then you look at it and the liner is breaking apart, and this all needs to go. So there's a little bit of demo here to do with the above the ground pool, and then recovering from that. The deck looks kind of old. Those gray boards, they've had some problems with them because they've had to come in here and replace 4 of the gray boards, 5 over here we see in that part of the picture. So it just tells me that deck is on its way out, and they are doing some repairs, but really what needs to happen, it needs to be refinished and or replaced, and that pool needs to go. So it needs to be a little bit of work done there in the backyard. Side yard looks good. This thing right here tells me there's some sort of drainage problem. Like, I don't think they set this up to create a garden, and I'm not really sure exactly what they did here. Water may be coming in and going over toward that wall, and they're trying to keep it away from the foundation. But this is a red flag. I told you earlier we didn't see any red flags. That's a red flag. That's not a normal thing. We don't normally do that. Why did they do that? They did that for a reason. I bet it's water. Water. Okay, there's a condenser unit back there. We at least have put our eyes on that, and it looks pretty good. Backyard looks fine. Fence looks okay. Some sections are newer, some are older, so it's not the same color. Not a huge deal. Got a little outdoor building out there for the lawnmower or whatever you want to put in it. And here again, they've used some of these, what do you call those, pavers, I guess, or I think you call that a paver, but they lined kind of a 2-level section of the backyard with that. They dropped this pool down. I don't think that is normal. I think they wanted to make the above the ground pool not be so high, and so it almost feels to me like they dug it down, and so it would be lower. But A, it looks stupid, and B, then they had to put these things around it to keep water from draining down into there, I think, because I really think these pavers that they're using are being used for controlling the water that's flowing when it rains. Yeah, that whole thing needs to be torn out, leveled. Maybe that deck could be refinished, power washed, and stained. But man, a little bit of work to be done there in the backyard. Here is an island, just an island all by itself out in the ocean, just float. I guess islands don't float, but you get the idea. It's out there all by itself, just hanging out. And you can see some wear and tear over the 25 years on this cabinetry. And I'm assuming we're in the kitchen. Part of the kitchen's over there, part of it's over there, and this is our island. It's all right. Going upstairs looks fine. That's kind of unusual, that little doot right there in the handrail. Well, I don't know what's going on there. Damage from owner backing in with car, not foundation damage. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're starting to find the little red flags on this property. The owner backed in. Oh, that's from in the garage. He backed in, punched this out. Look, I think this can be easily fixed. I think it can be easily fixed. Yeah, look, I don't think this is that big of a deal. It looks like a big deal, but you get somebody out there that knows what they're doing with brickwork, and they could shove this back in, replace that piece, repair it, it is going to be visible. It's very hard to make a repair like this and for people not to see it, but we're over here by the power meter and the air conditioning unit. I don't think people would normally be looking at this. So yeah, it looks kind of crazy, but I don't think it's as big a deal as you might think. But as we look up here, we see some discoloration on the siding and a little bit of degradation there on the siding trim. Windows, I bet you anything, are original 25-year-old windows. And if they're dual pane, we can find that they've popped and fogged up and stuff like that. There's something going on with the water here, and as it has stained the siding and stained the brick. One thing I would tell you, this thing needs gutters, but I don't think that would help with that situation up there, but it would certainly help with this, with the water running down the wall like that and discoloring it and perhaps causing issues with the foundation. That pool is no bueno. That's what we say here in Texas. We're bilingual, and that pool is bilingually bad. No bueno, my friends. That whole thing needs to be torn out and removed. The deck could be saved, perhaps. We'd have to get in there and look at that. There's a reason they've been having to replace some of these. And it tells me that some of them have rotted out. So, how close are the other ones to rotting out? Well, we don't know, but we'll have to figure that out in there. And there's another look at the meter by the part where the guy hit the garage wall. I'm assuming there's damage on the inside of that garage wall as well. I'd like to see that. You can see that crack went pretty far up. I think this is one of the big reasons this house isn't selling. And honestly, I don't think that's that big of a deal. I think it could be fixed, and I think it's in an area of the home where the cosmetic issues would be pretty minimalized. So as we look at it, the thing needs carpet. And I didn't think it needed a lot of paint, but it needed, I think when we get in there, we're going to find that this is a pretty typical cosmetic, and this is just $10 a square feet applied to the 2,793 square feet. And I think we're going to need $10 a square foot to come into this house and fix it up. There's some general repairs that are needed. I think we need at least 2 or 3K. Let's see, what if I put in 0.5? What would I get? 8. That's too high. I'm going to go with like 0.25. $4,000 to fix the wall that was punched out, to fix that drainage, to maybe put, if we start putting gutters on it, it's going to cost a little bit more. That's really where I want to stop that, because I do think as I look at this house, I often look at a house and think, this is going to take 20, this is going to take 30, this is going to take 40, $50,000, right? I was looking at this thing and I was thinking, 30, 35K, you could probably fix this thing back up, replace the carpets, fix up the little, paint areas in the house that, or look dirty, all that kind of stuff. Could this house take more? It absolutely could. Dude, you could spend $50,000 making this house, replacing all the faucets, all the door handles, or whatever you wanted to replace. Yes, you could spend 50 on the house, but I'm just going to stop at 32 and say, this house was offered at a pretty good discount. And if I had $32,000 that I could go in and invest in the house, I'd have me a pretty good house. Now, would I have a good investor deal? I don't know about that, because I think right now with our 32 budget for repairs, and so let me start over with the actual calculation. Our after repaired value is 418, 70% discount factor, minus the repairs of 32K, takes us to a cash offer of 261. They are looking for 297. We are $36,000 apart. Honestly, that's about 10% on this house. I don't think we're huge apart on this thing, and I absolutely think this could be a good deal for someone. I would want it cheaper. Honestly, I would want it at around 260. Honestly, I'd want it at 250, but we're starting to get, kind of like, hell, we would all want it cheaper, right? But, we have to be realistic because there's competition. There's other people that would buy the house. So I think at 260, 261, it would be a pretty good deal. And so I'm short of where they are by about 10%, but I still think, man, we're talking about a house that the ARV on this house is legit $420,000. Fazio was not lying about that. They were maybe a little bit optimistic, but not that much. And so it's a pretty good discount on this house. And I love Mansfield. And honestly, as an individual, I would look at this house and say, this is an opportunity for me to go, if I wanted to move to Mansfield, $300,000 house in Mansfield with 2,793 square feet. That's crazy. That's a really good deal. It's just probably not enough of a discount for me as an investor. But I like the house. I do like the deal. And I think Fazio brought us a really cool opportunity here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this one drop in the near future to closer to like 267 or something like that. Wouldn't surprise me. It'd be getting a lot closer here. In fact, if this thing drops to 267, I'm going to go ahead and call it a deal. And that the difference between 267 and 297, still a deal, but not as good of a deal. Does that make sense? All right, my whole time I've had my task list out here. So sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention to my screen. All right, guys. That'll be it for today. Remember, you can visit the Cash Offer Masterclass. I wasn't ready for anything, was I? I'm on the wrong screen. Visit cashoffermasterclass.com. Click Get the Calculator. Fill out the form. I'll send you the calculator. And remember to visit us. You can always go to Cash Offer Masterclass or search for that term on Google or YouTube, and you will find Cash Offer Masterclass. I'm getting a little discombobulated here at the end of the video. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed looking at this house in Mansfield. I think Mansfield is a great community, and, I think this is a great deal for somebody. Maybe not for me as an investor at the discount level that I need to get, but it's pretty good. And I like it. So that'll be it for today. Thanks for joining me. And I want to wish you guys all happy holidays if you're watching these in real time. And if you're not, I just want to say have an awesome day wherever you are, whenever it is. And if it's been a little while since this episode came out, check out episode 70. It's coming up. We haven't recorded it yet, but future me says it is an awesome episode. And future me says to you guys, check out episode 70. It's right over there. It will be soon. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Oh, I'm getting a call. Talk to you later. Bye.